Friends, have you been following this case about Fatiha Marzan? I think that's how you say her name. She's down in Florida, down in Orlando. This case is straight nuts. Wait, do I have enough light? I need light. I need to shed some light on this situation. Okay, so listen. Fatiha killed her sister over a dude. First of all, that is bad form. Boy, your parents going to be mad. But this is what happened. I was like, okay, that's terrible. But then this story got crazier. But let me start from the beginning. So 911 gets a call and like, hey, what you need? And so she was like, yeah, can you come here? Because my sister is a teensy bit dead. So they were like, okay, rushed over, checked out the sister, and she was indeed dead from several stab wounds to her heart. And her very young, first of all, these girls are 20 and 21 years old. That is too young to go to jail. It's going to steal all your pretty, all your future, all your everything. But Fatiha was like, I stabbed her because she was flirting with my fiance. Okay. Fatiha girl, there are many, many other fish in the sea, but this girl was very shy and she spoke like a child. She was 21 going on like 12, just very like, and then what happened was, so they got this nice detective to go talk to her, and this detective did a masterful job of getting all the information. This is the story of what happened according to Fatiha, and trust me when I tell you, she's an unreliable narrator. So according to her, she met this dude 5 years ago. They were met online playing some game and they would chat in Discord, and he was like, yeah, in a couple of years, me and you can maybe get married. Won't that be great? And he started calling her wifey, and she was like, this is my fiance, blah, blah, blah. And so her and her fiance were going along great. And so, of course, since he's her fiance, she introduced him to her entire family. She's got many, many sisters and brothers. Okay, great. He's just like one of the family now. This is terrific. And so he was talking to her sisters. I think the dude's name is like Joseph or something like that. So Joseph is talking to her sisters, but he got particularly close to one sister. And Fatiha was like, I'm going to need you to back up from talking to my sister because y'all are talking too much. And so the sister was like, yeah, but we're just friends. But they would texting each other and having all these private phone calls. Meanwhile, the two sisters shared a bedroom. That's bad for both of them. But also, like, ladies, we need to prioritize, number one, our family members over a dude. Number two, some stranger you met on the internet. You're not going to want to murder over some stranger you met on the internet. Turns out the dude was also a catfish, but that's not even the most interesting part of the story. So Fatiha is working hard. She's saving her money because her and her fiance are going to move in together and they're going to live happily ever after. But her pesky sister keeps talking to her boyfriend. And so finally she was like, obviously something needs to be done. So she went on Amazon and she bought 2 daggers. And the detective was like, do they come in a 2-pack, girl? Why'd you buy 2? And she was like, well, you need one for whatever, and then you need to have a spare one. And so the detective was like, well, where did you keep it? She's like, I didn't want it to be in the way, so I kept it in my backpack. Okay. So she had her little dagger and she just waited for the right day. And then she said to her sister, this is the last time you're going to talk to my fiance. And the sister is like, don't be ridiculous. Me and him are just friends, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they actually said, but like, this is what I'm assuming happened. And so Fatiha set up, and according to her, she just used the knife on her sister. And then she sat in the room with her body all day, locked in her room all day. She made some phone calls. She got online. And then finally, she was like, I should probably unalive myself because everybody is going to be mad. Oh, she called Joseph. That was his name, Joseph. She called Joseph, her fiance, to say, hey, I'm tired of you talking to my sister, so I unalived her. And they were like, well, what did Joseph say? And Joseph was like, wait, what? You did what? You didn't have to do that. And so once she realized Joseph was upset, she was like, good thing I brought that spare dagger, because you can get daggers on Amazon. Who knew? So she was like, I was going to use the second dagger to unalive myself, but first I needed to write a goodbye letter. And she was typing it or texting it or whatever. She accidentally sent it to one of her other sisters. And her other sister was like, wait, girl, what? What? What'd you do? And so the sister breaks down the door, finds the dead sister and the alive sister, who is like, oopsie, she kept talking to my fiance and I kind of killed her. So they called the police and they take her down to the police station and she's telling this story. And I was like, wow, that is a fascinating story. I wonder what her sister's side of this would be, but we're not going to get her sister's side, the unalive sister. We're not going to get her side. Let's go talk to Joseph. So the police go to Virginia or South Carolina, wherever Joseph happens to be. And Joseph has a totally different story of what happened. Number one, Joseph was a catfish. He had very sexy pictures of himself up. Turns out, not that sexy in real life, but they started talking online. And Joseph had some issues. He dropped out of high school in, I believe, when he was 14 or 15. Okay, he had major depression. Bless your heart, Joseph. I hope you're getting the help you need. So he went and he got the help he needed. And so he was like, okay, I got my depression under control. I'm spending all my time gaming. Great. Play your games, do what you're going to do, have a good time. And so he meets this girl, Fatiha. And he said she was embarrassed because she was Muslim and felt like she couldn't meet people in real life because they would judge her because of her headscarf or whatever. And he didn't judge her. And so they became friends. And they talked so often, he started referring to her as his wifey. And it was a joke. They were never engaged. And so he was like, she gave me hope. I was like, oh, she's a nice girl. Maybe I could spend more time with her. So he started talking with her family. They met each other's friends online. Everybody is having a good time. And then Joseph starts chatting with the sister, Samia. Starts talking with the sister, the unalive sister. So starts talking with the sister and he was like, oh, I have a lot more in common with the sister than I have with Fatiha. And Fatiha was like, no, you belong to me. I think she's a little touched in the head, as though you couldn't tell that from the knife of her sister, but whatever. So Joseph was like, yeah, so I decided that I liked them both, but really Samia was my true soulmate, but I didn't want to hurt Fatima's feelings. And so I kept telling her, we're going to have to break up because I want to spend time with your sister. And she was like, no, you're mine. So he was like, I had this idea that we could be polygamous and I would just date. We could all three be in a relationship. Dude, listen, you are clearly an incel. You couldn't get a date to start with. Now you think you're going to have two chicks and their sisters and you're a catfish? Sir, where do you store the audacity? It is too much. You are team too much. So anyway, he was like, so I was saving my money so I could move there. But first I was going to have to get a GED and a driver's license and a job. I'm sorry, what were you working with to start with? What was appealing about this? Just the fact that he liked this girl, that she was Muslim, sir, that is not enough. And in the 5 years they were friends, they met once. He went on a family trip. His family stopped through Orlando. They was like, hey, and said hi. And based on that, they built this entire relationship. This relationship was in Fatiha's mind. Clearly, there was nothing else in there. So it was plenty of room for this relationship to spread out and get comfortable and have a good time because this chick was out of her gourd. So he was like, yeah, so I was thinking we could be polygamous. And then it occurred to me that was not going to work out. So Fatiha was saving all of her money and I was going to move to Orlando and live with her, but date her sister. That's what we agreed was a good idea. Who was the we involved in that? The sister was trash if she agreed to that plan, and Fatiha was delusional if she thought that was going to work out. But he was like, yeah, Fatiha was saving all her money. And then finally I said to her, Fatiha, I really am super into your sister and I want to date her sister and date your sister and see if that works out. But if that doesn't work out, then I'll go back to dating you. That sounds like a good plan, right? But I really think your sister is probably my soulmate. Well, we're just going to take it as it comes. And Fatiha was like, no, you're my fiance and we are going to live happily ever after. And so he was like, stop saving so much money because now I can't come to Florida because until we work out this relationship thing, I don't know what's going to happen. So Fatiha says, don't tell any of our friends that me and you have broke up. And he was like, we weren't a couple. What are you talking? And she was like, okay, but I'm going to keep talking to your sister. So Fati is sitting in her house and she was like, obviously, the only recourse I have here is to murder my sister. So let me go on Amazon and order a knife or a dagger. And she ordered a 2-pack in case people were upset that she unalived her sister. She could also unalive herself. Fati girl, I'm going to need you to get some of those nice pills that your boyfriend Joseph was on to help with your depression and your crazy and your whatever else, because people are mentally ill all day, every day. You know what most of them don't do? Kill anybody. Anyway. So she plots and she plans, and they said, well, when did you unalive your sister? And she was like, at 4:30 a.m. They were like, oh, they said, how did you know what time it was? She's like, I checked my watch. Girl, what? You checked? Like, okay, I'm gonna start murdering now. It's not the murdering. She's like, I was gonna do it at 4 o'clock, but there were still people awake in the house. And so I just waited. Okay, ma'am. So she waited until 4:30 when the house was nice and quiet. And they said, well, the detective was so funny. They wasn't like, crazy heifer, where'd you stab your sister? They were like, when did you insert the knife into her? That is a very polite way to describe a stabbing. So she was like, I inserted it in her at 4:30 into her heart 3 times. Oh, okay. And so the detective was like, what happened next? And she was like, she woke up. What did she say when she woke up? She said, what the F? Yeah, I'm sure that's the least of what she said. And she was like, and so I just kept using it on her until she was gone. And then I called Joseph and I was like, you can't choose her now. You have to choose me. Ma'am, if you murder the love of someone's life, they're unlikely to want to date you. I know that seems unreasonable to you and your crazy mixed up head. But honestly, there are a lot of things that are non-negotiables for people. Apparently for you, not having a high school education or a job or a driver's license did not make him undesirable to you. Okay, I'm going to need you to raise your standards, but you're not going to have to worry about that because now you're going to go to jail. And so they were like, oh, okay, Fati, what'd you do next? And she was like, I called him and I told him what I did and he didn't believe me. And so I said, yes, And so me and him talked for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Well, I need to know the entire transcript of that call, every single word. And apparently he didn't believe her. So he was like, let's get on FaceTime so I can see. But then he decided in all of his wisdom, you know what? Seeing the love of my life unalive right there in her bed, that's probably not going to be good for my mental health. I'm going to need to up my meds. I'm going to need to go see the therapist 3-4 times a week. So no. So he was like, okay, he believed her. And then he ignored the situation for 2 days. Everybody in this story is crazy. Everybody out of their rabbit ass mind. I cannot with any of these people. So they were like, okay, Fati, then what happened next? And she was like, I went to write the goodbye letter. I accidentally sent it. And my sister said, you should call 911. So that's when I called you guys. Am I going to go to jail? Yes. Yes, ma'am. See, you just confessed to premeditated first-degree murder and you live in Florida. You're going to go to jail for a long time. And maybe they'll send you to the nervous hospital, girl. I don't know. It's not going to go good for you. It's already not going good for you. And I'm watching this story this weekend on the YouTubes and I was like, where is this heifer now? And is she locked up? They need to have her all locked up, nice and secure in a nice padded room with soft meals that you can eat with a spoon because a fork is probably dangerous to her. Also, you can buy daggers on Amazon. Does Amazon know? And they were asking her for her passwords. Like, okay, so we believe everything you say, crazy Fati. So we're going to need your password for Amazon and for all of these other things. And she was like, oh, so here's my password and here's my email and here's my this and here's my that. Do I have to give you all this information? Because I don't want you to see all of it. Ma'am, they're going to subpoena. She not a true crime fan. She didn't know. The custodian of records is going to show up at your trial. Everybody's going to show up at your trial. And everybody's going to see all your crazy. And the least of your worries are going to be that you think people are going to judge you for wearing a headscarf. We're not going to judge you for the headscarf. The murder? Oh, we're going to judge you for the murder. So we tend to judge murderers harshly in case you didn't know. Even in the Quran, they say you can't murder people. You just can't be out here murdering your sister over a dude who is a catfish and not really your boyfriend, who He has some mental issues. Nothing wrong with that. Take a little pill. You get all better. Go see a therapist. Everything is just fine. This girl, she needs to go see a therapist and take a pill and maybe have some more invasive treatment into her very, very empty head. So if you look at her picture, you're like, oh, who arrested that 10-year-old girl? They made her take her headscarf off for the picture. Is that permissible? I mean, I think you need to honor people's religion. I think they should let her leave the headscarf on. Regardless, she's a murderer. So she has surrendered certain runs of her rights. And I assume one of those rights is the right to wear a headscarf in prison. But whatever. So she was just like, okay, I guess I'm going to go to jail. How is she going to do in prison? Do they have a special wing of the prison for the ladies who need to be at the nervous hospital instead of right there in the prison? But I don't know what prison they send you to if you're in Orlando and you commit a crime. But whatever prison that is, that's the prison she's in. And this crime happened like September 2022, and I am just hearing about it. Law and crime, I'm gonna need you to be more up to date. I need to know about all the sensational, ridiculous murders, not the heinous ones. You just send me your murders and I'll sort through and I'll tell you which ones I would like to hear more about. Please and thank you. Okay, it's time for me to go over and be a 13th juror. So let me get my act together and go hang out with Brandy and them, and I will see y'all later. But as soon as there's more information about crazy behind Fati and her catfish boyfriend, her dearly departed sister, I'm gonna let y'all know. You have a good day, and I'll see you over at Brandy's. Bye.